Imagine being alive during a time where women had no control over family growth, a time where it was illegal to teach about birth control, something that was considered obscene to some people, but a miracle for women. According to the CDC, in 2015 through 2017, roughly 46.7 million women were on some form of birth control. We've now made it to 2020, where birth control is considered mainstream, and since we're open about it, we need to learn the history behind it. I've personally been on birth control for 4 years now and had no initial information behind it, so decided to do my own research to figure out how birth control came to be a thing in the US. Today I'd like to talk about a woman who is considered to be pioneer behind birth control, her beliefs, the accomplishments, and where we are today. This amazing woman goes by the name of Margaret Sanger. Born September 14, 1879, she was the sixth of 11 children. Sanger lost her mom early on due to tuberculosis, but also from poor health due to having so many children. She started nursing school in 1896 and later finished her nursing program with White Plains Hospital in 1902. Sanger was very active in the Progressive era, attending many women's labor protests. She was also part of the Women's Committee New York Chapter Socialists. Having brought up her belief about women's labor rights, I'd like to give the reasons behind it. During her time of nursing, she witnessed many situations where family control was needed. Even early on, she had examples of what too many births can do to a woman's body and their health, her mom being a sad but perfect example. She often visited poor class families whose wives were in poor health due to either having too many kids, miscarriages, or abortions gone bad. This is what gave meaning behind Miss Sanger's mission. Having stated her mission statement, I'd like to go about how she accomplished these things. Sanger was very headstrong with everything she did. In 1916, she opened the first birth control clinic in the US. This sadly didn't last long, seeing as it was shut down. Miss Sanger was arrested due to not paying fines. While spending 30 days in jail, she informed her other inmates about birth control. In 1923, the Birth Control Clinical Research Bureau was formed, and it provided birth control to others, collected data behind the safety and the long-term effectiveness of the birth control. During the same year, the American Birth Control League also formed, and that took the data globally for population growth. These two organizations later joined together to form what we now know as Planned Parenthood. Now that I've introduced Planned Parenthood organization, I want to talk about its biggest accomplishments and how we are today. Planned Parenthood was and still is an amazing resource for women, men, young people, and even families. Thanks to Planned Parenthood, we have the birth control pill. They are those that funded the grant to help with research behind it. The birth control pill was approved on May 9th, 1960, 44 years after Miss Sanger started her mission. By 1965, 1 in 4 married women under the age of 49 were on the pill. Miss Sanger sadly passed away only 6 years after it being approved. We've now made it 60 years later, and we have many options available to us birth control wise. We have the shot, implant, pill, and even the intrauterine device known as the IUD. Planned Parenthood still continues their mission today to provide reproductive health, sex education, and resources to women, men, young people alike. This wraps up today the history of 3 main things / people: Miss Margaret Sanger, birth control, and Planned Parenthood. We went over an amazing woman who we owe many thanks to for being headstrong and helping others, gave the reasons behind her drive to help others. I gave you examples / forms of birth control that we use today. And finally, I went over Planned Parenthood and how it has helped us get to where we are today and has made birth control available to almost everyone, which is what Miss Sanger would have wanted. Thank you so much for listening to the history of something that is very important to me.